Hello to everybody. My name is Maria Azkarate, and the aim of this presentation is to analyze the documentary I have seen, How Racist Are You?, and some text that I have read too. Taking advantage of those different inputs, I have reflected on different issues that will be presented in this video too, and I will try to share with you my own opinion about this topic that is racism. To start with, according to Sarah L. Webb, she differentiates two main concepts that nowadays exist. Colorism, that is based on prejudiced attitudes and or discriminatory acts against people based on the color of their skin. And however, racism is defined as prejudiced attitudes and or discriminatory acts against people based on their actual or perceived racial status. As Sarah L. Webb says, there is no difference between those main concepts, and she mentions that colorism is a symptom of racism. It is true that racism has existed throughout human history. People believe that another person is less than a human. But as Sarah says, there is not a main reason why this happens. However, I consider that wars, slavery, nation formation have had influence during the history. As an author mentions, racism has had a big impact during the past 500 and 1000 years when black people came to Europe. The most notorious example of racism has been slavery, particularly the enslavement of Africans in the New World in Europe. Continuing with the presentation, I have noticed that nowadays the most racism type occurred is the difference or the discrimination that black people suffer. That this is called colorism, as I had mentioned before. Why happened this? Okay, unfortunately, white people have been the people with the power during the history. And the image that the society give us about black people is not positive. We have born in a dictatorial system in which is dictated how people from different places, races, color, I don't mind, should be like. Jane Elliott, the doctor that did the psychological exercise in the documentary that I have seen, Jane Elliott, for example, mentions that she knows how to be a racist because she was taught to be a racist person because of her skin color. Because of that reason, white people is more racist than black people. Just because people have had the power, white people have had the power during the history, and we can say that nowadays continues in that way. Furthermore, speaking about the documentary, the documentary shows and makes people realize about nowadays reality. People realize that racism comes to people because of different reasons. For example, the skin color. But those people do not choose their skin color. We think that there is no problem with racism, and people from the video think that they are not racist people. But when we think that there is no problem, or when we think and we don't emphasize with other people's reality, we become part of the problem. I mean, black people are discriminated every day, and white people are the oppressors, the guilty ones. Jane Elliott, through the documentary, proves that discrimination is unfair. In the exercise, white people were the oppressed group and the rest were the oppressors. White people were the victim of racism in this case, and brown eyes group, black people, different races people, were the oppressors. Because of white people is not habituated to have the power, they don't understand at all the racism, what racism means. White people is not habituated to be the oppressed group. So white people that are the oppressors nowadays, we can say it like that, they don't understand what racism means because they think that they were not racist. In conclusion, as I have said, nowadays black people or people of different races are the most oppressed people in this issue that is racism. I consider that the message that media, social networks, and so on so provide us about different people, I mean from different places, different races, is a negative point of view. In that sense, we have grown in an environment where racism exists and where we have been educated in a wrong way, in my opinion. Educators, parents, family have always shown us the difference between people. I mean, that black people is different from white people. And we learn prejudices that nowadays we continue thinking and expressing them unconsciously. It is a clear example, the investigation that USA did in 1940 called White Doll and Black Doll. People who want to watch this video, I have put the link here, but maybe you can find it in YouTube too, writing White Doll and Black Doll. It is really interesting, this video, because kids from different places and races have in front of them two dolls, yeah, a white doll and a black doll. And a boy asks questions like, who is the ugly doll? And kids have to identify if it is the white doll or the black doll, yeah. So kids identified the black doll, yeah, with the ugly, the bad boy, the enemy, whereas the white doll is identified as the pretty one, the intelligent one, the good boy or girl, and so and so. So children grow up learning the prejudices that adults or the society have, and in that way I think that it is impossible to overcome this problem that is racism. So, do you think that is people becoming more racist than in the history? As Albert Einstein said, it is easier to break an atom than a prejudice. So, I leave this question to you to reflect on it and to think about it. So thank you for watching and hearing to me. And this have been my presentations, and thank you. I hope you like it. Goodbye.